Marvel Studios. Man, what can I say about this company that hasn't been said already? I mean, it's Marvel. They've practically become a household name ever since they became enslaved by the powerful Lord Mickey Mouse. Marvel single-handedly managed to do something that nobody really thought was possible. They made superheroes cool. Before the likes of Spider-Man and Iron Man, superhero movies were mostly garbage save for a few, and even then they were still seen as the kinds of movies specifically directed towards the nerds and the geeks hanging out at comic book stores. Today, however, that's definitely not the case. Thanks to Marvel, superheroes and superhero movies have become mainstream, to the point where they've even reached the Oscars. In fact, this year Marvel won its very first Oscar thanks to the numerous nominations Black Panther got, including Best Picture. Mind you, that's the first superhero movie ever to be nominated for Best Picture of the Year. That's a big deal, and nobody can deny that. Marvel Studios has raised the bar for all superhero movies going forward, and, unfortunately, that's mainly the reason why their latest movie has disappointed me so much. It's not bad, but I expected much better. Captain Marvel tells the story of Billy Batson. Oh, wait, we're talking about the other Captain Marvel? Damn it, we've got another month till Shazam comes out? Alright, whatever. Captain Marvel, set in the mid-1990s, acts as a prequel to all the movies that we have seen in the MCU so far, and follows the story of Carol Danvers, an extremely powerful warrior who is part of an alien race called the Kree. However, she seems to have a severe case of amnesia as she doesn't remember who she is, and that's essentially the main premise of the whole movie. So, let's get into the positives and negatives, shall we? We're going to start off with what I liked with this movie. There isn't much, but there's enough that deserves to be mentioned. First of all, Stan Lee is given a proper tribute in this movie. I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but let me say that it was very emotional, and I'm so glad that Marvel decided to recognize the great Stan Lee in their latest movie, because I honestly didn't expect it at all, and I was pretty surprised. Yes, this doesn't have much to do with the movie or plot itself, but it's still something that deserves to be praised. The second positive thing that I have to say for this movie is that every side character is interesting and gives a great performance. I'm honestly surprised by how genuine these people felt and how much I actually wanted to know more about them. Nick Fury, Carol's best friend, this guy with the weird eyes, hell, even the Skrulls themselves. This also surprised me a lot because I didn't expect any of the side characters to be any interesting, yet they were all pretty charismatic and funny, and I ended up wanting to see more of them. However, this is also sort of a negative because they all ended up overshadowing the main character, but we'll get to that later. Another positive thing about this movie is that there's a lot of nods and Easter eggs for longtime MCU fans. This is to be expected since Captain Marvel is set before all of these movies, but there were appearances made by certain characters from other movies that I didn't really expect at all, and it was nice to be able to see that. More importantly, none of it felt forced, and I appreciated that because I wanted this movie to focus on itself, rather than trying to set up a billion more sequels like every other Marvel movie tries to do. And also, there's one really cool scene with her that actually made her look like a badass. Just one scene though, the rest were average at best. Anyway, that's about all the good stuff from the movie that I can remember. Not to say the rest of it is bad, it's just not anything memorable or good. With that said, on to the negatives. Number 1. Carol Danvers is boring. Remember how I said previously that Carol was an extremely powerful superhero? Yeah, I meant it. She's so powerful in fact that she ends up suffering from what my brother likes to call the Superman syndrome, where the movie fails to have any real sense of tension because nobody can put up a real challenge against her. I'm serious, this movie doesn't have any real big fight scene where the hero has to finally use all their strength against a formidable foe. Like, that just doesn't happen in this movie. And it's not just her power level that causes her to be a boring character, the overall story itself just doesn't serve her well. Brief moments of her past are shown, but it never goes anywhere because it's all quick cuts and flashes, so we get no time to even comprehend what's going on. You know how internet trolls kept saying that Brie Larson only has one facial expression, and that it was going to ruin the character of Captain Marvel? Yeah, trust me, the facial expressions aren't what make this character boring. Regardless, on to the second negative. Number 2. This movie doesn't have a real empowering moment. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. First of all, we have to keep in mind that this movie is Marvel's first female superhero movie. We've never had a single one before this. No, we don't talk about that one. Anyway, naturally, I have to make some comparisons to Wonder Woman when I see this movie because it's supposed to be inspirational and empowering for female viewers. No doubt about that. However, and this is just my opinion as a guy, I don't think this movie really has that scene that makes you go, hell yeah, when you see it. Like, there's a scene that's supposed to be like that, but it doesn't work. This movie doesn't have that no man's land sequence from Wonder Woman that really gives you goosebumps when you see it. And that's a shame because as the first female Marvel superhero movie, this film had some big shoes to fill and it unfortunately never really lives up to the hype. And that's a shame. Number 3. This might be a small spoiler, but this should be obvious to anybody who's seen the trailers. The way Nick Fury loses his eye is the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. I'm serious. I'm not going to spoil how it happens, But it's really dumb, and I hate this movie for doing that. 0 out of 10, this movie's horrible. So anyway, this movie isn't horrible, but it's not great either. It's very average and bare bones, and after seeing the likes of Spider-Man Homecoming and Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok, I think we need to start demanding better from Marvel. If this movie had come out around the time of Iron Man and stuff, I'm sure people would have loved it, but that's just not the case anymore in 2019. Overall, I'd say this movie's above average, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Regardless, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, because this movie seems to be very divisive, and I'm only human, so maybe I'm missing something. If you liked the video, leave a like, and if you didn't, leave a dislike. Just be honest, that's all I ask. If you want to see more movie reviews and discussions, be sure to subscribe. Man, I sure hope the other Captain Marvel movie turns out to be good. I can't wait to see that one. Anyway, peace out guys. This is Lil Brownie, signing off.